Tesla's popularity is growing and growing every single day. In 2020, they sold 500,000 cars and are continuing to update their cars and build more factories. This year, many are predicting that they will sell easily over 1 million cars, so today we're going to break down each one of their cars, which one could be right for you, and which ones may be getting updated soon, so let's get into it. To start off with, let's talk about the commonalities between all of Tesla's cars. Tesla makes fully electric cars, not hybrids, not electric with a backup engine, purely electric. So just like a gas car, when you run out of gas, if you run out of charge, you can't drive. Oftentimes this scares people, but Tesla has a huge advantage over other electric car makers for right now in this area because they have a huge and ever-expanding supercharger network. The network currently has over 2,000 supercharger stations across the world, and as they sell more cars, they continue to build more. Another thing to keep in mind for an electric car is the fact that ideally, you never need to actually charge at a supercharger. Your car can be charged at home in your garage. For myself, I installed a home charger that charges faster than a standard outlet, and I can charge overnight with no issue whatsoever. It's also far cheaper to charge at home than to fill up with gas. So while superchargers are somewhat there to replace gas stations, they're really just for people who can't charge at home or people on road trips. Earlier in 2020, I actually did a road trip from Los Angeles to Washington and back and had no issues charging along that route. All of Tesla's cars can charge at superchargers, and rates are typically cheaper than gas as well. Teslas are all built for safety. All 4 of their cars are some of the safest cars out there, with 5 stars in every category from the NHTSA. The Model 3 and Model Y are 2 of the safest cars ever tested, and the Model S and X are up there as well. On top of the safety in the event of an accident, all of Tesla's vehicles include safety features to avoid accidents as well. They all include automatic emergency braking, blind spot monitoring, lane departure avoidance, and more at no extra cost. In the same category, all Teslas include Autopilot, which includes adaptive cruise control to adjust your speed and brake according to the vehicles around you, and Auto Steer, which keeps your car centered in the lane. This can take a lot of the stress out of driving and is especially helpful on long drives. Tesla sells a full self-driving package add-on for $10,000. It currently adds a number of features and promises more for the future. First is Navigate on Autopilot, a feature that chooses lanes and drives you from freeway on-ramp to off-ramp by itself. Next is Auto Lane Change, when the car changes lanes for you, then Auto Park, where the car parks for you, Summon, where the car comes to you in a parking lot or out of a tight spot, Traffic Light and Stop Sign Control, which will recognize and respond to traffic lights and stop signs with your help, and coming later this year, according to Tesla, is Auto Steer on city streets. It's important to note that last year, Tesla said this feature was coming this year, and it didn't come then. So we are hopeful that it arrives this year, but can't count on it. It's always risky to buy a product for a specific future promised feature. However, that future promised feature is incredible full self-driving that can drive in almost any scenario for you. Tesla has been testing their full self-driving beta with a limited amount of customers, and the results are pretty impressive. It's not perfect, but is improving quickly, and if it comes, should warrant that $10,000 price tag. Currently, however, my recommendation is that the package is definitely not worth $10,000 for what it delivers at this moment, and it won't be until Tesla actually releases this full feature and it proves valuable. Keep in mind as well that Tesla has raised the price of this package multiple times and will likely keep increasing it because they see the value of full self-driving to be huge. Luckily, Elon always sends out a tweet to warn customers, so if you want to keep up on that, it may be worth following Elon on Twitter. It's a software update and can be added at any time after purchase for no extra charge, and at the click of a button on your phone. They also have plans to introduce a subscription option soon. This feature is exactly the same in all 4 of their cars. Next, all of Tesla's cars are built for the future and receive free over-the-air software updates throughout the year. They come in every few weeks, sometimes more often, fix issues and add new features from time to time. One such feature that was added around 2 or 3 years ago is Sentry mode, an advanced security system that records with the cameras around the car in case of vandalism or a break-in. Additionally, every Tesla comes with the Tesla phone app that lets you remotely control things like climate, charging percentage, and summon. You can also lock the doors, honk the horn, vent the windows, and more. On the center display, you can play games, stream from Netflix and other sources, control Spotify, podcasts, and more. There are a lot of Easter eggs as well and fun apps like Tracks to make music, but don't worry, you can't use things like Tracks or Netflix on the main screen while driving. Now back to the electric part. There is a common misconception that electric cars are slow or not good to drive. The opposite is the case. Tesla makes some of the fastest cars out there, and their most expensive Model S Plaid is about to be the fastest production car ever, with a 0 to 60 under 2 seconds. Even their biggest cars drive incredibly fast. This is thanks to the advanced drivetrain, but also the instant torque that is available only with an electric car. On top of the speed, there is no rumbling engine, so the car is nearly dead silent and does not emit any pollution into the air. You can run your car as long as you want in a garage and never have any issues whatsoever. It also has one-pedal driving thanks to regenerative braking, which takes the energy from braking and puts it back into the battery. When you let off the gas pedal, the car automatically starts braking. It takes a day or two to get used to, but once you get used to the distance you need to let your foot off to brake the right amount, you can't go back. Driving up or down a mountain is so much more fun because your foot can stay on one pedal the entire time. Another aspect about electric cars is lack of maintenance cost. There are no standard oil changes in Teslas, and maintenance is next to nothing. It's often a running joke among Tesla owners that they have their yearly maintenance on their Tesla, and it's simply to fill up with washer fluid. Tesla isn't perfect though, and sometimes their cars, no matter how expensive, end up getting delivered with some factory production issues. I experienced quite a few small fit and finish issues with my Model Y early on, and it was frustrating, but Tesla fixed them under warranty. I haven't had any problems since those initial issues, and now I absolutely love the car. I totally understand the desire to drive a traditional car, but once you drive a Tesla, you realize that for daily driving, it's by far the best option to drive electric. Every aspect of it is better, cleaner, and more fun. Electric cars frequently get rebates from the government as well, so depending on where you live, it is definitely worth investigating. Currently, Teslas do not qualify for the federal government EV tax credit, but I received a $2,000 rebate from the state of California, as well as a $1,000 rebate from my power company when I got mine. Now let's get into the individual cars Tesla makes. One important thing to note is that I will be talking about EPA estimated ranges, and those are always a little bit generous. Real-world range is going to be slightly lower and will vary depending on temperature, speed, and many factors. So if for some reason you have an insane commute to work that is 150 miles there and 150 miles back and the range is 300 miles, you can count on needing to charge somewhere in that process. Tesla's cheapest and most popular car at the moment is the Model 3. It seats 5, has a standard trunk with an automatic liftgate, as well as a front trunk, and now has an all-black exterior trim. The rear seats can fold down for more storage space as well. It features a glass roof, wireless charging for phones in the front console, a vegan interior, premium audio, an included USB drive for Sentry mode security footage like I talked about earlier, heated seats, USB-C ports, and more. But the main design aspect you'll notice right off the bat is the center display. It's a 15-inch display that controls nearly everything you do in the car, including windshield wiper settings, climate control, and more. The advanced climate control is controlled on the screen with a visualization to aim the airflow where you want it to go exactly. Note that there is no instrument cluster directly in front of you. Your speed, autopilot visualizations, and related information is on the top left corner of the center display. Again, this is something that tends to freak people out, but I got used to it in about 2 days, and I don't really miss having an instrument cluster. The standard Range Plus model is the cheapest, coming in at $37,990. It gets a range of 263 miles, a 5.3 second 0 to 60, and the only other difference between the standard range and long range models is that the standard range includes a partial premium interior. You get slightly less premium audio, no LED fog lamps, front heated seats only, and a month of premium connectivity instead of 1 year. The premium connectivity is the LTE signal built into the car to give you live traffic visualizations, satellite maps, video streaming, music streaming, and more. After the trial ends, you have to pay for it monthly. The long-range all-wheel drive model comes in at $46,990, gets a range of 353 miles, and a 0 to 60 of 4.2 seconds. For those two cars, you have the option of the standard 18-inch aero wheels or 19-inch sport wheels for an extra $1,500. A black interior is standard, but a white interior, which looks great, is an extra $1,000, and the standard paint color is white. For an extra $1,000, you can upgrade to black, gray, or blue paint, and for $2,000, you can get red. For those who want to drive fast, the performance model gets 315 miles of range and a 3.1 second 0 to 60 for $54,990. The performance model also comes with a few specific upgrades like the 20-inch Uber turbine wheels, performance brakes, carbon fiber spoiler, aluminum alloy pedals, lowered suspension, and track mode. As I mentioned earlier, you can also add the full self-driving package for an extra $10,000, but the standard autopilot features come standard on this car. The Model Y is Tesla's next car up in price, and it's largely based on the Model 3. In fact, when Tesla originally announced it, they said they took 75% of the Model 3 design for the Model Y. As you can see, the Model Y is very similar in many ways, but it is specifically designed to be a small SUV. It seats 5 or 7 depending on which package you buy. The 7-seater option adds 2 seats in the rear that are very, very small, but apparently get the job done when needed. I have yet to see the 7-seater in person since Tesla just released it, but it costs an extra $3,000 to add those seats. The 5-seater is very spacious and is what I have. It has a hatchback trunk with an automatic liftgate, as well as a large front trunk, and has an all-black exterior trim like the Model 3 now has. It features a panoramic glass roof. This roof is one big piece of glass with no support beam down the middle, so it's an even better view than what the Model 3 has. The center console at this point, in the United States at least, is actually different than the Model 3. It's a glossy piano black console with a flip open slot that reveals the included wireless charger and a deep storage pocket. I personally prefer the new Model 3 console myself, but this older version is what the Model Y still includes today. Tesla will update their cars at any time. They don't wait for yearly refreshes, so it's entirely possible that by the time you're watching this video, the Model Y now has the same center console as the Model 3, and that's what we're expecting to come anytime soon. The Model Y has the same vegan interior, premium audio, included USB drive for Sentry mode security footage, heated seats, USB-C ports, and center display. In fact, the interior of the Model Y looks nearly identical to the Model 3, and the main screen controls nearly everything you do in the car as well. Again, there is no instrument cluster directly in front of you. Your speed and related information is on the top left corner of the center display. The main differences between the 3 and Y are the size of the Model Y. It's much taller, a tad wider, and a tad longer, which makes it feel much more like an SUV. The ground clearance is higher, and your seats actually sit higher as well, so you feel much more on top of the road than you do in the Model 3. The main selling point is the trunk space. When you open the hatchback, you have a ton of space, and the rear seats fold flat at the touch of a button, making the rear cargo area incredibly accessible. All versions of the Model Y feature the same premium interior, so there's no partial premium interior with certain downgraded features like the Model 3 has. Even the standard range Model Y includes the premium audio, rear heated seats, and more. The standard range Model Y starts at $41,990, gets a range of 244 miles, and a 0 to 60 of 5.3 seconds. The long-range all-wheel drive Model Y comes in at $49,990, gets a range of 326 miles, and a 0 to 60 of 4.8 seconds. For both of those configurations, you can get the included 19-inch Gemini wheels or upgrade to the 20-inch induction wheels for an extra $2,000. In my personal opinion, I would just go with the Gemini wheels. I went with the induction wheels and they are really easy to get curb rash on. I've already done it a couple times even though I've been very careful. They are expensive and the ride is a little bit stiffer in them compared to the 19-inch Gemini wheels. The Gemini wheels do have a plastic hubcap and this is what it looks like without the hubcap. I will say that those wheels don't look amazing without the hubcap, but I've seen people paint their hubcaps black and it looks great. If I were to go back and do it again, I would just go with the stock wheels. If you want to go fast in the Model Y, the performance model comes in at $59,990, gets a range of 303 miles, a 0 to 60 of 3.5 seconds, and a top speed of 155 miles per hour. The performance model, similar to the Model 3, includes specific upgrades like the increased top speed, 21-inch Uber turbine wheels, performance brakes, lowered suspension, and aluminum alloy pedals. Track mode is currently not included, but could potentially be added in a software update down the line. Although this car has been out for almost a year now and we haven't seen that feature arrive. You can choose the standard black interior or a white interior for an extra $1,000, and then 5 or 7-seater as I mentioned before. 7 seats is an extra $3,000. White is the standard paint color. Black, gray, and blue are an extra $1,000, and red is an extra $2,000. With the Model Y, you also have the option for a tow hitch with a rating of 3,500 pounds for an extra $1,000. And again, full self-driving is $10,000 if you want to add that, but basic autopilot is included on all of these models. Because of the versatility of the Model Y's trunk and the overall interior space, it is quickly becoming Tesla's most popular car. The Model 3 was and is very popular, but for some people it just ends up being a little too compact. I'm a drummer myself, so the Model Y was a perfect choice, and I've used the rear trunk space with the fold flat seats countless times. It's incredibly versatile, and overall, I love it. I have a couple reviews of my Model Y, and you can check those out linked up here or in the description below. And also make sure you're subscribed to this channel to see my future reviews of the new Model S, Model X, and more. So those are Tesla's, quote, cheap vehicles for the time being, and by far their most popular. In fact, Tesla typically sells about 10 times more Model 3s and Ys than they do Model S's and X's each quarter. For the average person, these will absolutely get the job done, and both cars are extremely feature-packed and versatile. But if you have the money, the single center display bothers you, or you want more space or better performance, the Model S or X may be for you. Tesla just updated the interior of the Model S and X to a totally new design, so let's check out the new versions of these cars. You probably know by now, but the Tesla Model S looks like this. It seats 5 and has a hatchback trunk similar to the Model Y, although the car itself is a sedan and sits low like the Model 3. It also features an all-glass panoramic roof similar to the Model Y for incredible views. All of the seats are heated, as well as the steering wheel and windshield. The rear seats fold flat and have a large cargo space, much like the Model Y as well, and there is the front trunk. The exterior looks similar to what it has been for years, but they just changed the trim around the car to black, so that is now standard. Inside you have your main center display, much like the Model 3 and Y, but this display is 17 inches. That's 2 inches bigger than what the Model 3 and Y has. You also have the instrument cluster display that gives you relevant information, as well as your Autopilot visualizations right in front of you. Up front, you have a wireless charger for 2 smartphones, center console storage, a similar climate control setup to the Model 3 and Y controlled on screen, but it also includes a true HEPA filtration system. And then there is the new Yoke steering wheel. This new steering wheel controls most driving functions and actually does not have stalks attached to it. You have buttons for your blinkers, lights, autopilot, and more, and the car automatically shifts drive modes, drive, reverse, neutral, etc., depending on what it predicts that you need to do. This is a brand new feature and sounds a little scary, but it's easy to override it on screen if needed, and Elon Musk seems confident that it's good enough that customers won't want to go back. In the second row, you have 3 seats, with the middle doubling as an armrest, cup holder, and wireless charger for rear passengers when needed. The rear also has a screen that allows passengers to stream content, play games with wireless controllers, and more. These seats fold flat much like the Model Y, allowing great storage, with Tesla saying that you can fit a bike without having to take a wheel off. The Model S features a 22-speaker audio system with active noise canceling to cancel out loud, repetitive road noises. It's a very similar technology to noise-canceling headphones, but works inside the car using microphones and the audio system. This is something that the Model 3 and Y definitely do not have. The Model S starts at a whopping $79,990 for the long-range all-wheel drive model. It gets a range of 412 miles, a top speed of 155 miles per hour, and a 0 to 60 of 3.1 seconds. This model includes the standard 19-inch Tempest wheels, and you can upgrade to 21-inch wheels for an extra $4,500. The standard interior is black, but you can choose white or cream for an extra $2,000. White is the stock color for the paint. Black, gray, and blue are an extra $1,500, and red is an extra $2,500. The Plaid Model S is next, and it's $119,990. It's a tri-motor setup. Gets 390 miles of range, a top speed of 200 miles per hour, and a 1.99 second 0 to 60. This makes it the fastest production car ever made until the Plaid Plus comes out, which we'll get to in a second. The Plaid model includes a few specific upgrades like the 0 to 60 specs, 1020 horsepower, 3 high-performance motors with carbon-sleeved rotors, and torque vectoring. Those models are delivering in March, but the Plaid Plus model is coming towards the end of the year. The Model S Plaid Plus costs $139,990, gets a range of 520 plus miles, a top speed of 200 miles per hour, a 0 to 60 under 1.99 seconds, and 1100 plus horsepower. Each one of these cars feature the same wheel, paint, and interior options I mentioned before. And now, last but not least, Tesla's largest vehicle, the Model X. Much like the Model 3 and Model Y, the Model S and X are very similar. The Model X has a much larger panoramic windshield than the Model S that extends up to enable an incredible view for the driver. It has 4 doors, but includes the crazy falcon wing doors for the rear passengers. They turn heads and look cool, but actually could serve a practical purpose, making it easy to load things into the side of the car. It has a larger trunk space than the Model S and is overall taller. There are 3 different seating options, 5-seater, 6-seater, and 7-seater, and all have the same premium features I mentioned about the Model S. Regarding cargo space, Tesla's website says, quote, Model X offers up to 91 square feet of cargo space, including a secure front trunk, and can seat up to 7 adults. The front trunk can fit a full-size carry-on suitcase, and the rear seats can fold flat at the press of a button, opening up the rear cargo area and underfloor storage for maximum flexibility to fit any lifestyle. The tow hitch is included on the Model X and has a 5,000 pound towing capacity. The Model X starts at $89,990. It gets a range of 360 miles, a top speed of 155 miles per hour, and a 0 to 60 of 3.8 seconds. The 20-inch Cyberstream wheels are included, and the 22-inch turbine wheels cost an extra $5,500. Black interior is standard, and white or cream are $2,000, and paint colors are the same as the Model S. White is standard, black, gray, and blue are $1,500 extra, and red is $2,500 extra. 5 seats are included, 6 seats is an extra $6,500, and 7 seats is an extra $3,500. So a little cheaper to get the 7-seater, but the 6-seater adds the middle pass-through. The same options are available for the more expensive Plaid version of the Model X. The Plaid Model X starts at $119,990, has 3 motors, a range of 340 miles, a top speed of 163 miles per hour, and a 0 to 60 of 2.5 seconds, making it the quickest acceleration of any SUV in production. For the Plaid model specifically, you get that acceleration, 1,020 horsepower, 3 high-performance motors with carbon-sleeved rotors, and torque vectoring. So Tesla's cheapest car is the Standard Range Plus Model 3, coming in at $37,990. Their most expensive car is the Model S Plaid Plus at $139,990 to start. If none of these cars fit into your budget, that makes complete sense, and Tesla is actually working on that. Elon Musk detailed plans for a $25,000 Tesla coming in the next few years, and while that may not seem cheap enough, it's important to keep in mind that with electric cars you have less repairs, and electricity is much cheaper than gas is. So hopefully when the car comes to be, the overall cost of ownership can end up less than that of an equivalent affordable gas-powered car. I mentioned earlier that Teslas aren't perfect, and that is true. Sometimes there are bugs with certain things on screen and certain features, and sometimes their cars come with some fit and finish issues that have no place being on a car that is as expensive as Teslas are. Long term, Tesla is building more and more advanced factories that should hopefully fix these issues, but it's important to keep these things in mind when shopping around. With that said, I will say to a certain degree, once you get an electric car, you can't go back. Electric cars are the future, and they're so much better in so many ways. So I know that I could never go back and buy a gas-powered vehicle again. I could picture myself getting a well-made electric car from another brand in the future, but for the time being, no electric car comes close to the features and convenience that Tesla offers with their cars. The Supercharger network is a huge advantage, and I've yet to see any other company offer a charging solution as broad and expansive as Tesla's is. On top of that, Tesla's included Autopilot system, while definitely not perfect, is the best option out there for assisted driving. I'm incredibly excited to see what the future holds for Tesla as well as all other electric vehicles coming to market over the next few years. I'll be continuing to review Tesla's new vehicles, including the updated Model S and X we've talked about in this video, so make sure to subscribe to this channel, make sure to like this video if you appreciated it. You can also follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at RyanShawTech. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.